Okay, guys. Hello, everybody. Let's do a quick audio check. Let me know if it's too loud. If I should actually, it's looking like it is a little too loud. I'll try bringing the gain down just a little. We'll try that. Yeah. And listen, Jason. Okay, guys. Hello, everybody. Oh boy, my phone's talking to me. A quick audio check. Let me know. Jason, listen. I see that little comment there. So let me know how's everybody doing. Everybody doing good? How's the week going? Anybody been shooting any tournaments? I kind of got some cool stuff I want to talk about today. And I'm not going to probably be able to do a really long podcast tonight. I kind of probably want to touch on one topic and then call it, because number one, I'm not so sure how good the Wi-Fi will hold up. But number two, I'm exhausted. So I need to get to sleep so I can teach good for the rest of the week. So I can't be up late and everything. But anyways, just a little update. I'm currently at Westside Sporting Grounds in just outside of Katy, Texas. And it is, man, for those of you guys who are watching this right now, honestly, it is worth just like making a vacation out of coming down to shoot here for a couple days. It's amazing that it's, in my opinion, honestly, it's like the most beautiful gun club I've ever been to. And that's really saying something, because it doesn't have terrain. It's Texas and it's flat, and it's freaking gorgeous. I can't even explain it. You got to come down and shoot. And they have a bunch of different courses, amazing targets. I will say right now, these are some of the best targets I've seen here. Fantastic targets, great people, awesome club, and beautiful trees. It's like my favorite place. So just a little plug out there. I'm not paid to say that. Yeah, it's like lightning in a bottle. I run late to everything because I just totally get lost in what I'm doing, and that's a problem, because by the time the end of the day happens, I have no buffer in between things that I have to do, because I'm late to one thing and then I have to start the next thing, and just like impossible. But the good thing is that I'm always late, but it's always just lessons. So if you pay for 2 hours, you're getting more than 2 hours, because I'm going to be late to the next guy, and then I'm going to add time onto him because he's late. So I'm going to go later plus more time, because I'll be late for the extra time that I give him. So by the end of the day, I normally only have 2, maximum of 3 students a day, because people book a big amount of time, and I'll teach like from 8 to 7 or 8 to 6. Straight, no lunch or anything, and so that really ends up being an hour or 2 later. No, normally if it's a crazy busy day with a bunch of people, like 2-hour lessons, it can be like an hour and a half, 2 hours later, but normally it's about an hour late by the end of the day. So hence why the podcast is an hour late, because as soon as I got done, I had to run to the store real quick to get some stuff and then get back here, and was not possible. Yeah, it is called nuts. So let's do this. This is what I wanted to do for today, because I don't want to make it too long. I do want to open up for any bit of just random questions for a little bit, maybe about 15 minutes or so. So if you guys have any questions you want to add in now, go ahead and do that. I'll answer those as best as I can. And then I kind of want to get into a little topic that has come up in probably the last 6 straight lessons that I've given, where it has been the sole most important thing that my students have wanted to work on. And it's a thing that I have talked about on the podcast before. So I feel that it's fair that I can talk about it again and just kind of like encompass it in an explanation that's more streamlined, instead of like hitting little topics of it here and there. And I'll feel like that's fair to my students, because I'm not making them pay for something I'm giving other people for free, because it's already there. But how I can pull that into a lesson is a lot different because we can actually go out and incorporate it and work on it and learn it and that kind of stuff. So I do want to just talk about a really interesting topic. But I do, again, like I said, I want to open it up for questions. So we'll do questions first, and then I'll do that. And I'm trying to find where did I put the little thing? Well, I'm missing something from my camera. I guess that's okay. Okay, so already got questions. Okay, cool. JJ, that sounds awesome. I'm excited to hear about what it is. I probably won't be. Probably won't be able to call you. This is gonna sound crazy, but honestly, it's gonna be it'll be a couple days until I can call you, just because of how back to back everything in my schedule is. Best thing to do, honestly, JJ, just shoot me a text message. But let's see. Any new bear pelt DR designs coming up? Yes, actually, Todd. And what's going on? I wonder if I might be able to share it. Let's see. How would I find that? Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna text myself or email myself a picture of the new vest. I think some of you may have seen this though, but I'll put it up on the screen. Gotta find it. Here we go. Where is it? Okay. Whoa, what the heck was that? Well, first off, thank you, Jose. Second of all, what was that screen graphic on there? What the heck was that? Like a random zombie dude running around. All right then. I guess there's that. Okay, so to be fair, I had a whole thing. I've spent some time redesigning the way that the stream will be to make it flow a little bit better and incorporate some of the other stuff that I want to be able to use on live streams, like some real video analysis and stuff. But it's a 98 gigabyte file, and I tried to download it in time, and the Wi-Fi isn't good enough here to be able to do it in time. It can download it, just it was taking way too long, and I ran out of time. So but there won't be any running zombie dudes on the screen after we do that. Where the heck is my vest? Okay, let's do this. Downloading the attachments, it might lag the video. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're going to transfer over and you can see the new vests. The downside about revealing that on there is that I can't see any of your faces when you're looking at it like, what, is this guy crazy or something? But the reason why I like to make vests that look like that is because that's the coolest thing to me about Bear Pelt is you can do something that nobody else can. It's not the coolest thing. It's my favorite thing about the way you can make the vest look, which is that you literally can do anything. And so I kind of like to push the envelope with that a little bit, so that for two reasons, and both of them are kind of in marketing. The first reason being that when someone sees that vest, they can be on the other side of the property and they'll know that that's a Bear Pelt vest, and I think that's cool. The other thing is that nobody really is going. Not very many people are going to make a vest like that, so they'll also know it's a Journey Podcast vest. The other thing is that that's kind of my personality. I like to be different and weird, and so and stand out a little bit. So I figured, why not make a vest like that? And not very many people will want to use it. It's going to be available to be purchased. Not very many people will want to, because probably not all of you are crazy like I am. but I'm telling you, look, the pattern is designed with some serious mojo built into it, and guaranteed to increase the difference in score between you and everyone else you're competing against by at least 3 to 5 targets. Not because it makes you better, but because it's so distracting to everybody else that it makes them miss. So that's the goal. Play mind games over here, son. Okay, let me try to catch up on some of these questions. Hey, David. Derek here in Memphis. You may have discussed elsewhere, but my first time joining, as you are so covered up, are you taking new students? Yeah, absolutely. The problem that I have is that for example, here in Houston, I'm here in Houston for 6 days, and I'm fully booked, starting an hour before the club opens and an hour after they close, not taking lunch, and I'm fully booked with only 8 or 9 people, and so it's awesome. That's the best way to take a lesson, honestly. But you kind of have to get on opening it up. I don't really advertise when I'm going to teach somewhere. Sometimes I do, but most of the time I don't have the club advertised. I don't put any things up in the clubhouse. And because what I do is I just send messages out to my students, for that. So, but I don't really teach in Memphis. So if I do, if there is I don't really know if there is a place to teach in Memphis. There might be. But my teaching schedule in Arkansas is very wide open, but I do that on purpose because the easiest place if you're wanting to get a lesson, and if you live in Memphis, is somewhere in Arkansas. And honestly, one of the best places that I can teach is at Arkansas, because I have clay bots, which allow me to really tailor the lesson to exactly what I need to teach you on, which is very good because I can just drive the robots around and change the targets infinitely with the control of a remote. So that's really, really nice. But yeah, I always am taking new students, the important thing is if you want lessons, is you gotta be like up on the times, I guess. But the best thing to do would be to, if you're not already, send me an email to add you to my email list. That'd be perfect. I look forward to it. Yeah, Paul. Exactly, Paul. Do you think we could get the DP vest designed by 2025? Listen, the more sass that I get from you, the later this thing will be delayed. Oh man. Yeah, I just had a student over my house, and we were designing a vest. This was maybe like a week or two ago, and the thought process was like, oh, let's design a vest real quick. And I don't think he realized how long it takes to design one, because it takes days to do it the way that I do. It doesn't take that long to make a vest, like if you're doing a basic one, but to do designs like that, it takes crazy long amount of time, because of all the little modifying that you got to do, and keep it within the boundaries of what Bear Pelt can make. I mean, they can make everything. They can basically make anything, but you want to try to keep it within the constraints of certain master files, so it doesn't have to be rebuilt, basically. Yeah. Oh man, Damon, that's a cool thing. I'm pretty excited about it all. I got my robots. I sent them off to Casey to do some like updates and stuff, and so everything works awesome now. It's really good. And he did some updates to the wireless, and to the electrical boxes and to the motors. They're faster now, easier to control, and much more simple design on the electronic aspect of it. It's pretty cool. Actually, let me just say that. I just read a thing that Ron Schwartz says, I did a voodoo test. It took barrel awareness away completely because I was concentrating on two targets. Ron, that is very cool. I'll have to. Man, I've got to we should do a podcast talking about that, getting some people on that have experienced that, and I would love to have an ophthalmologist and a neurologist on the podcast with me to kind of explain what's really happening there. But yeah, it really does. It takes all the barrel awareness away, makes you very, very attentive on focusing on the bird, because it's kind of so hard to see. What Ron is talking about with the voodoo test is in a podcast that Curtis Dunbar and I released. In one of the 3 parts, we talked about this little trick that I did with him in a lesson. And what I had him do was, I noticed that something was happening. You have to listen to the episode. I think it's part 2, in the beginning of part 2 for this. But I had him take his glasses off and shoot without his prescription, which is very, very hard to see, and immediately it fixed everything. And so it's in the lesson in the podcast, we talk a little bit about really what that means and what that accomplishes and what it does, and all the different characteristics involved in the process of why it worked the way that it worked. So it's a kind of interesting podcast to listen to if you haven't already. But it would be cool to have people on here with somebody else to explain it from a different point of view. It would be very neat. What other questions? Wow, dang. Memphis. Okay, Drew says, high-tech versus high-tech S if you use the same choke in both barrels. Do high-end sporting guns make a significant difference over Beretta 680s or similar guns? So, that's a great question, Drew. Well, let me know if you're asking me which one I would prefer, or if you're just stating like a high-tech or a high-tech S. It looks to me like you're saying which one of those two what I suggest, and then you're asking me another question. So basically what I would say, I don't really think it matters. I mean, both guns are really, really, I mean, it's the same gun. It's just a dropout removable trigger or a non-removable trigger. And that really lends itself to personal preference. You're not going to get any difference in performance out of the two of them. There are a lot of people who have like an emotional attachment to wanting to be able to remove their trigger and have a separate trigger group, and that makes them feel better. And the other reason for a mechanical for a dropout trigger is that the flat / leaf springs that they put in there, whatever you want to call them, are based off of they hold energy through tension as opposed to compression, and so when you pull the trigger, and if you're not somebody like me who slaps the crap out of a trigger and can't feel the difference between a Stoger and a Perazzi, the which is 100% true. But if you are more conscious of your trigger pull, people who are tend to like the flat springs better than the coil springs because they feel like it is a crisper break. I definitely, when I am conscious about it and I am not shooting and I try to like pull it slowly, I personally can't tell the difference. And I would just go with a coil spring regardless. You can get a removable trigger for Perazzi with a coil spring or the standard flat spring. But either or is good. They're both equally good. I personally shoot a Hi-Tech S, so that's the non-removable coil spring. And one of the biggest reasons why I do that is because basically with my coil springs, if my triggers break, I'm not going to know because it holds energy, stores energy through compression. So if the spring breaks, it's still going to compress and release energy and allow the you can tell I've been teaching all day. My brain is fried. Yeah, we'll just end it there. But the it's going to allow total brain fart. But basically, you're just not, if your trigger breaks with a coil spring, you're not going to know until you take the stock off and you look. The other thing that I would be nice to have a dropout trigger to be able to clean. But literally the only step is that, I just take my stock off. Very, very easy. And then your other question is, where is it? If you use the same choke in both barrels. I see. So if you're wanting the removable trigger, you can get a selective removable trigger group. So that wouldn't matter. And then do high-end sporting guns make a significant difference over Beretta 680s or similar guns? So my answer to that is yes, obviously, but that is such a complex answer to explain, like in all the facets of why they're different and better. You can talk about the actual build quality of the gun, how it's designed to last. So like something like a Beretta 680, and I'm gonna get crap for this, but just the design of the monoblock into the receiver, if you shoot it over and over and over and over again, the gun will loosen up and, it's not as strong of a build and a locking mechanism as something like a Boss Action, which you can shoot it over and over and over again. And it's just basically going to get tighter with the way that the locking mechanism works. So like you can talk about the build quality of the gun. You can talk about the customizability of the gun, or you can talk about, just the service that you get with the gun. Obviously, that doesn't really apply if you're talking about something like a Beretta 680 versus a Beretta DT11 because it's the same company, you get the same service. But if you're looking at gun, it just really depends. So it's a very complex answer, but the best answer that I can give you for the reason why I would shoot a gun like that is because I personally chose the gun that I shoot, being a Perazzi, because it literally is the only gun that you can build from the ground up. It's literally like buying the parts to a car and building it from scratch and making it drive and handle and everything exactly the way that you want. And I don't care how much marketing BS that any other company gives you in the competitive shotgun manufacturing market. Nobody else can do that. The only way that you're going to get something like that is maybe if you go into the level of a like a Fabry or a Boss or a Holland & Holland or a Purdy or something like that, maybe. And then on top of that, you could do it. Some of the types of things that you can get built on a Perazzi, you could get other companies to do, but you have to order 100 or 20 of the thing that you want. So say you want I'm going to get in trouble for this, or I'm going to make people mad, but it's true. We call up Krieghoff and say, hey, I want a 34-inch, I want a 34-inch parkour barrel, and I want it to weigh 1.54 kilograms. They'd be like, okay, that sounds good. You got to put an order in for 20 of them. so the other manufacturers have the ability to make it, but in order for it to be cost effective, they have to order it in bulk, because they have to retool things and stuff like that. But with Perazzi, that you can do that. You can say, I want a 33.5-inch barrel at 1.62 kilograms, and I want it to be balanced 5 millimeters in front of a hinge pin, and I want the bore diameter to be XYZ, and I want the top rib to be whatever. I mean, you literally can build it how you want. Why is that important? Because that hugely influences the way that it moves, handles, points. All the finesse and control that you have with that gun can be built the way that you need it to be built, for the way that you move, for the way that you see, for everything. And so when you hear people talk about a custom-built gun, and they're talking about a Perazzi or any other gun, if they're talking about any other gun, they're talking about you get a choice of a few different types of barrels, a few different types of stocks. And if you want a custom-built stock, it'll cost, like if you want a custom-measured stock, okay, let's take another $1,500 to $2,500 or $3,500, and we'll make a custom stock on your Krieghoff. Perazzi, you can't buy a Perazzi with a non-custom stock. If you do buy one from the shelf on a dealer, from a dealer, you're buying one that has been custom ordered to put on the shelf. It's just the best gun that you can possibly buy, and on top of that, you have literally the most amazing people, and everybody will say that about the company that they shoot for, but that's for my opinion, so that's my opinion. That wasn't harsh to anybody else at all or anything. Let's see. Oh, hey, Paul. This is saying, I'm trying to book lessons when you're here at Northbrook. Should I just book them online so I can lock them in? I haven't heard back from you. Either or, shoot me. Maybe you did today or something, but shoot me a message to remind me to do that after this podcast. I have a bunch of stuff to do real fast after this. I'll see if I can get to it. A quick way to be able to do it is to book it online. But if you don't want to do it online, I can do that for you. If you send me the dates and times you want, that I can save it. Oh, cool, Jason. Yeah, that sounds good. Jason from Dead Pair Podcast is saying he's got more to add from last week with about talking about gun fit. But yeah, that's definitely. I want to make it kind of a regular thing to have you guys on. I just can't do it when I'm on the road. Maybe I can sometimes, but I don't know if I definitely would not have the Wi-Fi capability here. I don't think. California Clays, cool. California Clays. Are you guys a gun club or just an organization? But yeah, actually, I literally was just talking to somebody today and somebody yesterday or 2 days ago or something about doing some instruction in California. I'm trying to put something together over basically starting in LA and working up into Seattle and just teaching along the way and making a half vacation, half work trip out of it. But yes, absolutely, I plan on doing that, and hopefully pretty soon. And let me know if you're a club or a organization. I'm curious. Let's see. Yeah, Drew, I can tell you, Drew, that most people use the sporting model, so the non-removable trigger, but I would say probably a lot of that is because of the influence of the person that they're buying it from. I sell a lot of Perazzis, and when I have somebody on the phone talking to me about it, I do steer them. If they don't have a preference, I'll steer them towards the non-removable trigger gun because it's just easier to maintenance. And in a way, it's a little bit less expensive, because if you want to take advantage of your removable triggers, you would want to buy another trigger group. And another trigger group is roughly, I want to say, the last time I checked it was $13.95, but that was I bet you it's, let's say roughly it's $1,500, and the price of the gun is the same. So roughly the same. You're within like, the cost of 2 nights out at dinner, which compared to Protzy is not that much. So if you want to take advantage of the removable trigger, then you're going to want 2 trigger groups. So then you got the extra cost in that. And then, or you can say, well, I want the removable trigger, but I don't want the flat spring that can break in the middle of a round. I want a coil spring. Well, then you're just get the S. So it kind of makes sense to do it that way. But it's really a nostalgic thing for a lot of people. I did, Damon. I did see that. But I was hearing about the 20-second change for the NSCA. I was hearing about that a lot, actually. People were, of course, everyone's calling me to tell me that, what are you going to do? I don't take that long anymore. I'm probably around 12 and a half seconds, so I'm not worried about it. I think it's a good thing, because what I did hear about this rule change is that a referee cannot enforce the rule. It has to be from a course manager. So really the purpose of this rule is not to impede on the shooter. It's really to help the shooters, because the only time that it can be called into effect essentially is if there's a group or a person that's taking so long that they're slowing down a course and backing up a course, in which case a course manager can come by and say, hey, you need to speed it up. We're going to impose a time, I'm going to time you all the time, and it'll fix that. So I think that's a great rule change. Honestly, I'm totally for that. Let's see. Wish I've forgotten selectable trigger on my process. I think new stock comes in first. I don't know. I think you're good with a HTS. That's what I've got. That's what George Digweed has. That's the way to go. I heard a rumor there was a no coaching in the station rule. I did hear that too, but I haven't got a chance to read the rules. All that happened to me was I got tagged in something on Facebook. I think Trevor Shanahan, if he's here, tagged me, and I literally had 2 minutes in between when I actually saw it really quick as this thing was counting down to start the live, and I didn't get to read. I just skimmed through, and I saw that about the course manager. I saw the thing about the no coaching, but I have not got a chance to read the rules yet, so we'll see how it is. In a Facebook group, cool. Oh, fantastic. Make some content. That's awesome. Very cool. We need more of that. The more shooting content and videos and stuff that we can make, the better, because it's the best sport in the game. And what I love about my job is when people take a lesson from me, I get this comment all the time, and which is funny to me, because it's funny that they think that it's funny to me that they are surprised by this, but they'll do something good or like have a really cool shot, and I get really excited, and they'll turn around and be like, "You're really actually excited about that?" I'm like, "Yeah," but don't you see this every day? I say, "Yeah, isn't it awesome?" It's the best thing ever. I mean, it's the most fun game there is. I cannot believe that this game is a job for me. Teaching people it, and the fun that you get from being with, I literally am with people all day, every day, teaching them. Then as soon as I'm done doing that, from for however many hours straight, then I jump on a phone call for a little while, and then I jump on a podcast to just do the same thing until I go to sleep, and it's just fun. And even when I'm tired, like, it gets me excited. So the more content we can get that captures that, it just helps the sport. It helps people want to try it. It takes away it demystifies the intimidation of trying this game for the first time, because it's hard or scary for kids or for women. Awesome. I totally commend you guys for doing that. Oh, what's up, Henning? I did. Wait, did I read that right? Yeah, Henning Matthew, I believe. Very cool. Looks like we got some bromance going on in the comments with Jason. Getting ready for the open. Goodness, you guys are like on fire with these comments. I can't even keep up. Let's see. Very convenient, just in case something breaks, I can swap them out in 3 minutes. Yeah. John Mollier says, does a 3/8 inch raised rib give an overall advantage by looking out of the center of the eye versus the top of the eye with a flat rib? It's a 3/8 inch raised rib give an overall advantage by looking out of the center of the eye. John, could you reword that? Not that your question is bad, but it's I'm stuck in a pigeonhole of thinking about one thing, and I want to make sure that I'm interpreting your question correctly so that I answer it right. Okay, so Paul says the Gator Cup's course times were on the dot, 2.5 hours. It was quite impressive. Do you think a lot of courses will go be stations? Will go be stations. If you're saying, do I think a lot of courses... Let me know what you mean by that. Sorry. Yeah, Henning, I completely agree. I think it's great. I think the no coaching rule is great. So far everything. I'm very happy with everything that the NSCA is doing with the. Oh, I also just saw they doubled the purse for the national championship. I don't know if that's 100% true, but just a couple years ago it went from 5,000 to 10,000, and now it's apparently 20,000, and everything else is doubled too. So that's very exciting. The Super Squad is very exciting. These two rule changes hopefully are the way that I'm interpreting them. They seem awesome. I think I'm happy with it. I'm very happy with everything they're doing. In terms of that, that's cool. Any progress is good progress. Wow, Ron, that's incredible. April 10th, High Tech will be 3 years old as of today. 43,000 rounds, not one malfunction, non-removable coil springs, and last year 6 months not able to shoot because of shoulder surgery. So, wow. Fantastic, Ron. That's bad to the bone right there, son. There we go, Damon. I like that. I'll do that. Oh, do I think most courses will turn into 16 stations? I don't think it matters. I think, I mean, it's going to depend. The number of stations is going to probably depend a lot on the size of the tournament and the depth of the rotation. You know, it just depends. It depends on the whole aspect of the shoot. I think from a personal experience standpoint, like actually being the shooter in the middle of it, I like both types of courses because they're different. Like at the Jack Links Cup last year, I believe they had 17 station courses. This year they didn't because they went from a 100 target course to 66, 66, and 68 instead of 2 100 target courses. So that changed it a little bit, and I don't know how many stations that they had, but when it was the main event was 2 days. I believe they had 17 stations. That was really freaking fun because the diversity of targets that you get, it was gruelingly hard because the most you ever got on a station was 3 pair, and you could just have it was hard but fun and very engaging and interesting. You even had a station with 2 pair, and you could throw a crazy hard pair on that. It was awesome. But I also, on the other side of the spectrum, love courses that are literally just 10 stations, because I like the grind of 5, every station being a 5-pair station. I think that's a whole nother part of the game. So I think, if you're a smart target setter and you can change stuff up at your club, and you know how many people are going to be there, you can kind of lay it out how you want. I think that's cool. Oh, okay, John. I'm glad that I asked you to rephrase that, because I did not interpret what you were asking me correctly. I completely understand your question now. So basically, let me go back to that first question, and read it again. So does a 3/8 inch raised rib give an overall advantage by looking out of the center of the eye versus the top of the eye with a flat rib? Yeah, I don't know how I didn't understand what you were talking about, because that makes total sense. It's definitely not your fault that I didn't understand that question. It's 100% mine. um, uh, I was so focused in on top of the eye. I'm literally thinking, like, on the eyeball. How am I looking at the top of? How am I looking from the top of the eyeball? I don't. Sometimes, anyways. So it's a good question, but I think that is my gun here? Yes. Okay, I'm gonna demonstrate something. Okay, so right now I have a TSK on my stock, but so it's not gonna fit me perfect. But I'm gonna demonstrate what I'm talking about here. I don't know if I can do it. Yeah, I can probably do it right here. Okay, so a big reason why a lot of people look out of the top of why their eyes are looking like this when they shoot is because of poor body mechanics. And the reason for that is, like, let's say I'm shooting this way, okay, and I'm gonna mount the gun on a bird basically eye level. So we'll do this, and then bring the head down. Now you can see, like, with the head down, I'm gonna have to look. I'm not gonna be able to swing my gun all the way around, but I'm going to I'll go to here, and maybe you can you see my, oh gosh, yeah, focus wise that's not happening. But can I do a manual? Okay, let's try that. Okay, do it again. We're gonna go here, down, oh sorry, here, down. Okay, now when I come over, you can see, like, my eyes are looking up. Okay, so that's what you're talking about. The problem with that is that it was body mechanics and maybe possibly bad gun fit that got me to do that, because what happened was, with the gun mounted to my shoulder, I brought the head down. The other thing that a lot of people do is they will put the gun in the shoulder, standing vertical, eye level bird, gun in the shoulder, and then shoulder up to the head. And there's less movement there with the head, and the eyes are more in the center part of the eye socket, but still not ideal. Okay, this is where you'll get a lot of personal opinion on this, and where different coaches will disagree on things. But this is my perspective on this. Different sports, different disciplines. So, like, ATA trap is going to have a different overall body posture, like average body posture per shot, compared to sporting clays and VTASC, as is skeet. And so this is why you see a theme, so to speak, on a trap stock or sporting stock. Then they're different, because in trap, you know, an important part of being able to shoot with good control of your body is to shoot with good balance and minimal tension. And so if you're shooting a sport where every shot is essentially eye level, like trap, and you don't have a variability in the placement of the shot vertically, then you're probably going to want to stand fairly vertically. And because the shots are around eye level, the gun is going to be fairly perpendicular to the body to decrease tension and strain on the body and increase movability. So that's why you see thick stocks for trap shooters with rollover combs and a high rib, so that the body posture can be that way. Sporting clays, though, not so much, because we have shots that happen all the way up here to all the way down there, so we need a big mobility in our posture and the way that the gun fits. So the way that I like my gun to fit me for sporting clays is I will stand. Again, this is not my gun, so it won't fit me this way. This has a much different pitch and stuff, but I'm going to fake it anyway. Fake it till you make it. So vertical posture and a gun angle like this. Okay, somewhere around here. Can you see it? Yeah, you can. Okay, so now if I'm standing like this, you know, you can see what I did is I totally vertical posture. I did not influence my body or my neck or my head, and I just brought the gun up to my face. Okay, now at that position, you can see in that frame, I wish I could freeze frame the thing, but you'll see that like my head and eyes are this way and my gun is this way. That's obviously bad. And if I wanted to have my eyes looking down the barrel, I would have to bring my eyes looking up. But instead of that, what I do, I go, okay, so totally vertical posture, very comfortable position. Into the face, I'll bring my head up. And so if I were to bring my body down to shoot an eye level bird, and I were to remove this and I were to stand back up, my head is looking up. And so my eyes don't have to be up, my eyes are center. And so you can fit the gun that way, and the mobility there is fantastic. The lack of tension in the neck and the shoulder is fantastic, because I'm not bringing my shoulder up, I'm not bringing my head down, it's relaxed. And so that's, in my opinion, a sporting style gun fit. It's hard to do that if the gun doesn't fit that way, but with respect to that, if your gun fits you that way, then I don't think that it doesn't matter what rib you have. If you don't shoot that way, I would recommend that you do instead of get a different gun. Just, you know, work on that and learn a little bit better mechanics, and it will help you tremendously. I hope that helped your question. Helped answer your question. Yeah, Jason, feel free to copy and paste it. Oh, David, so shot my second one is to shoot first and... Dang! Very good, Austin. I love it. First in super sporting and third in the main. 48, dang. That's fantastic. And of course, John, I'm happy to help. Okay, I'm gonna put this gun away. Okay. Hey, bring it on, son. Someone. Oh, I'm checking my text to see. Jason, I'm waiting for your copy and pasted thing, and don't give me the excuse that it didn't work again. Oh, you did text me. Okay. Oh, these are cool. Let's see. Okay, so I see. It wouldn't fit on the thing, so I'll read it. So Jason's Jason's proposal is to raise the required amount of punches to move up in class as follows: from B to A, make it 15; from A to double A, make it 20; from double A to master, make it 25. In order to qualify for master at a regional shoot, the shooter must have an 88% or higher average. In order to qualify for master at nationals, the shooter must have a 90% or higher average that was obtained from at least 2 regional shoots. Note, any shooter that placed in the top 100 at nationals for the last 3 years would still compete in masters. This keeps people like Annabelle from showing up and kicking everyone's butt in AA. While it may not be an ultimate solution, it would keep shooters classified in a more state, regional, national level. It wouldn't fit on the screen. I think that's pretty good. The thing about that, though, is I would like to see the percentage of people that have a 90% average, including 2 regionals. Trevor, we were just talking about that. Jason, I don't know if there's going to be very many shooters with 90% average, including 2 regionals in there. At least, back in the last time I paid attention to averages, there was like 5 people in the NSCA that had above a 90% average. I don't know if it's still the same thing. That was a long time ago, maybe like 10 years ago, but yeah, the 20-second rule, I'm not too worried about that. I don't really take that long. I got this. They keep coming after me, and I keep changing. So I think really what happened, Trevor, is that Jason and I released the podcast where I just took a whooping to the NSCA and kind of said some mean things, and then literally look at the timing of this. 4 days later, they release a new rule making a 20-second time limit on shooting. I mean, do we think that's targeted or what? No, I'm just kidding. I know that's actually been something in the works for a very long time. Nobody clip that and send it to somebody because I'll be in trouble. I definitely do not take 20 seconds long. I've timed it because in the PSCA we had to take I think we had 15 seconds. So I got it to 12 and a half. I've got some in my eyes. I'm sorry, guys. I mean, are there times when I take 20 seconds? Yes. Is it my normal routine? No. So I'm not worried about it. Yeah, I knew someone was going to clip it. It would be funny though. At least it'd get them to get some. I mean, I think all those guys would laugh if they saw that. I got a text from Gary Fitzgerald, and he wanted to know if I was alive, so I texted him a picture of the podcast and said that we're all making fun of him, so we'll see if he shows up in about 3 minutes. Oh. How about the CPSA's new 10-second time limit that we will have to comply with at the World English this year? I didn't know about that. That's interesting, though. I mean, honestly, I think here's my opinion on things. When and also, what's up, Will? Sorry, I read that and didn't even read the person. Are you Will? Are you gonna come here soon? Dang, am I gonna miss? Oh no, you can't. Well, maybe I don't know. Anyways, it's great to see you, Will. But yeah, I think number one, it depends on when they're starting the time limit. If they're starting the time limit like when you shoot the last shot, 10 seconds honestly is I don't think that's enough time for 80% of the people. I mean, you have to unload, throw your shells out, get 2 shells, put them back in, close it up, get your gun up and call pull out. Like maybe the only person that could do that would be Kevin DeMichael. But if I don't know when they're going to count the 10 seconds. That's wild if they're going to do it that way. I mean, if they are doing it that way, my opinion on rule changes. Number one, I think that honestly, I think 10 seconds is a little bit of an abuse of power by the fact that governing organizations have no pushback from anybody else. Imagine the NFL or the NBA or the PGA being able to make any rule that they want without a players' association to fight back on that. If it's a dumb rule that's not in the interest of the players or the game, they can just do whatever they want. I think that's very dumb. So in that respect, I think a 10-second time limit, if they're going to start it from the second that you shoot the second shot of the previous pair, that's not fair. You're going to have people there's too many people that can't do that, and that's a dumb rule. That's insane. I don't think people realize how fast 10 seconds go if you start it when you shoot the last shot. So I don't think that's good for the sport because I think, do we really need it to be that fast? 20 seconds is fine. 15 seconds, maybe a little fast. 20 seconds is fine, though, because, what are you doing to the people? Is it going to affect me? No, because I'm a professional and throw any rule that you want at me, and I'm going to learn how to make it not a big deal. But the people that it's going to really affect are the people that that need more time, and it's not their hobby and sport. I mean, it's not their profession, because it's their hobby or just a sport that they play, and they get overwhelmed. I mean, Will, I know you would know because of how much you coach. I mean, being able to get a student to calm down in a cage and be relaxed and not be amped and nervous and rushing is very, very hard, and it hugely negatively affects their shooting. And if you're going to impose a 10-second time limit on everybody, that's just not good for the game because you're going to frustrate people and they won't have fun because they're not going to shoot good, and it could hurt the game. I think you will affect less people. I mean, how many people really are complaining about backups if you were to make that 10-second time limit a 20-second time limit? There's no difference. I mean, impose a 10-second time limit on the pros and not amateurs. That's fine, but don't do it on. That's just not fair. Oh, 100%, Chris. I mean, I just shot a tournament where, they had all the 4-pair stations next to each other and all the 3-pair stations next to each other. And that backed up the course way more than, or could back up a course way more than anybody else can. I mean, honestly, let's do this. Somebody time me. And I'm going to fake shoot a pair and show you guys how ridiculously fast 10 seconds is. Watch. Okay, so somebody get a stopwatch out on their phone and we're going to time this. What you're going to do is when I say now, hit the timer. And then when you hear me call pull, hit the timer again and count the seconds. I'm going to go no program, just shoot, unload, throw it in the garbage, pretend to get shells, load the 2 shells, close, and set up and call pull. That's all I'm going to do. No program. I'm not going to think about anything. As Kevin and Michael would say, I'm not going to stare at any witches. Okay? Somebody time this. Here we go. Remember, when I say now start it, because I'm going to have to shoot a pair, and it's going to be on the second trigger pull. So when I say now start, when I call pull after that, stop it. Now. Pull. Okay. Somebody tell me how long that was. If that's over 10 seconds, I'm going to quit and take up bowling. Gary Fitzgerald said, when I told him I said that we were making fun of him on here, he said, good, it'll make you relevant. Jesus Christ, that was 13 seconds. I didn't do anything. How do you possibly... That's insane. See, that's not fair. That's like, will I be able to do it? Yeah. I mean, we had the speed rounds in the PSEA. It wasn't a problem at all. I can reposition parts of my routine into different areas. But is a 75-year-old guy that can't see and can't move very fast, doesn't have good dexterity, is he gonna be able to do it? No. Is there's no freaking way. That's a stupid rule. That is so stupid. All you're gonna do is get people too nervous, and they're not gonna have fun. That's dumb. That's so dumb. That makes me sad. Because the reason why it makes me sad is because I have students that I know that won't be able to do that. That's just sad. It's unfortunate that they think that way. Ridiculous. Dumb rules. I'm posting that on. I'm somebody for real. I want somebody to clip that all the way up until right now. And I mean, I can do it. But if somebody really wants to take advantage of doing it, they can do it and make that go viral. That's ridiculous. I literally need a belt-fed shotgun to be able to follow these rules. That is so stupid, man. My God. I mean, I can't wait to go back and play that again so I can... I mean, I literally didn't... I tried to add a little bit of stuff, like as if I wanted to align the shells or something. But I mean, almost 14 seconds. That's dumb. I'm still blown away. Well, that's unfortunate. I'm not going to that shoot because I can't make it, but now people might think it's because of that. I'm going to let people think that. Oh. What's up now? He's here. Oh, Two Shots Podcast. We got Gary Fitzgerald on the. We got him in the chat. Oh, so you guys want me to do it again? All right, I'll do it again. Let's do it again. Okay, so remember, when I say now, start, and when I call pull, stop. I'm gonna do literally. I'm not gonna do anything extra, and we'll see how this goes. All right. Now. Pull. Alright, let's try it. I feel like that was 11 and a half seconds. $11 and a half. That's what I'm going to guess. It's probably like 25. 12 point. What can I... Okay, we're doing it one more time. I got to get below 10. God dang. Okay, here we go. This is sub 10. I'm going to start a new shooting school called sub 10. Here we go. Remember, now and pull. Now. Pull. Okay, that has to be under 10. I feel like that's 9. Somebody give me a 9. Bella, do you think that's a 9 or a 10? Doing God's work, man. 6.9. Hell yeah, I like that. Oh. I didn't reach into the pocket. Oh, damn. 6.9. Of course. Yeah, I mean, 10's possible, but it's rust. I mean, I guess I forgot to load shells. It is hard to... I don't have a vest in. I'd have to go out to my car, and it would take too long. I don't think... Yeah, I don't. But, oh, my God. Yeah, I don't... Bear belt speed pockets. Oh, my God. Why is this so funny? That's hilarious. Flagged for reloading non-existent shells. Holy cow. This is fun. I like this. We'll do Yeah, that's impossible, Damon. I cannot do that. My God. I can't do nothing fast. How I just cannot believe somebody can do it. 20 seconds is totally fine. And honestly, if you give me a 10-second time limit, I'm fine with it. It's fine. I can do it. But I really just do not think that that's good for the sport. Yeah, you got to sprint from state. We might as well just start a new subset of sporting clays. Call it like speed shooting sporting or speed sporting clays. I don't know. Not like speed sporting clays, but we got to do something where it's like you have to. I think what it should be is the course is in a circle, and you have traps in the circle, and you're on a crew cab, Polaris or Can-Am, and the shooter sits in the back, and the driver drives around the course, and then as you go, you're shooting a belt-fed shotgun, and you don't stop. You just keep driving, and targets fly as you go by, and it's set off by laser, like a laser trip thing. So when the Can-Am goes, the targets throw, and then you have to shoot them while moving. And the fastest person to get through, or you should do like the highest score with a multiplier of the actual time that it took you to get through the course. You do some type of math equation, and that's the winner. Because the faster you go, the harder it will be. Because eventually you're going to get to a speed, probably mathematically, where if you're going faster than the target, if a target is a right to left crosser, and you're going in the same direction as the target but faster than it, you would have to shoot behind the target. I like this game. Let's do it. Let's see. Oh, we got a question. No, it says, "Hey David, I have a hard time dealing with anxiety, and at the upcoming my dad put even more pressure on me by saying if I don't perform, we might take a break. What can I do to prevent anxiety?" Hey, man. Okay, so here's what I would do, and my dog is obviously. Let me feed my dog real quick because I want to be very serious about answering that question, and I can't do that if she's begging me. Okay, come on, we'll go get food, dog. Come on. Okay, so I'm going to reread the question. So it says, I have a hard time dealing with anxiety, and at the upcoming Minnesota state shoot, my dad, it's not Minnesota, it's Mississippi, state shoot, my dad put even more pressure on me by saying if I don't perform, we might take a break. What can I do to prevent anxiety? So, I'm going to have a few questions for you, Noah. Why did he say that? Because it's a very complicated question that you give me right here, because it could be just bad communication on his part or a misunderstanding on your part. And I just want to know, basically, tell me this, like, if it has to do with, really, in all honesty, there's no reason why the statement should have been worded by that way. I hope that it wasn't, because it's unnecessary to be worded that way. But also understand that you can't blame somebody for not understanding how to communicate something properly if they're not a coach. Like, if your dad is not a coach in some way, he and it wasn't meant in a negative, like, punishment way, or form of communication. It could just be that he doesn't understand how wording something like that can put a lot of pressure on you and increase your anxiety and make it very hard to perform. I deal with this a lot with younger students whose parents mean the best for them but don't know how to say things. And so if that's the case, the best thing that you can do to relieve anxiety is to actually flip the roles and have an adult conversation with your dad and say, hey Dad, I appreciate what you're trying to communicate to me, but I want to have a conversation with you about how the way that you present that and the constraints that you give me for that make it harder for me to do what you want me to do. And I understand that you love me and you want me to do as good as possible. But when you put pressure like that on me, it makes it hard because I care about what you think and I love this game and I don't want to take a break. And that's not going to help me. So you can have a conversation like that with him. but just let me know a little bit more, because I can help you, because I really don't. The best way to tackle that problem is not to find a way that you can handle that situation better. It's a way to find it's to find a way to communicate, to have a conversation and communicate with your dad and say, let's both find a way to communicate to each other better and figure out what you mean by this. Is it because financially it's hard to do and it's costing too much money unless I make money in it? Because if that's the case, maybe I'll find another way to make money in shooting or through shooting, maybe by, reloading hulls and selling them, or by, working at the gun club to help pay for things, or whatever it is. But I want to keep shooting. Or is it because, you're trying to motivate me? And if you're trying to motivate me, I can tell you what ways it would be better to motivate me. We can find other ways. Or is it because you think I'm wasting my time by not putting effort in to be better? And if that's the case, tell me what you think I'm not doing well. And maybe I would want to go to see a coach or have a conversation with somebody, and that type of thing. There's a really good way to handle that, but it just depends on a lot of things. I love all these ideas for this new Sporting Clays game. Speed walking, sporting, like cross-country ski shooting. Yeah, that'd be cool. Picked up a 694 with a TSK stock this past week and ordered it in October 21. Wow. 694 that you ordered in October of 21 that you just got now. Holy cow. David called shooting snow geese. Driving 40 miles per hour through a rice field and shooting snow geese out the bed of the truck. I love it. That's funny. Oh, man. That is hilarious. I'm gonna give you guys homework. If you're watching this, your homework is going to be to record yourself shooting a pair, unloading, reloading, setting up, and calling pull as fast as you can. And time it. And then post it on social media. And hashtag like the Journey podcast. Hashtag Journey Shooting Podcast. And then also hashtag 10-second rule. I know, Will. I really do miss hanging out. Let me look at my calendar. So far, what I have is the U.S. Open. Going to set targets for the Spring Deuce in Rochester. I have the Southeastern Regional, Arkansas State, the World FITASC. I'm not doing World English because it's too back-to-back, and I really feel good about FITASC this year. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to leave around the time that people do for the World English, but I'm just going to go to Hungary, and I'm going to practice. And then I have Ohio State Shoot, North Central Regional, South Central Regional, and Nationals. Those are all the tournaments I'm going to. I would say, well, I was just thinking that you could do it in your house, but Chris, I'm assuming you're talking about hitting the birds doing the 10-second rule thing. But yeah, I would just say you could record it in your house, or if you record it outside, then I would say make it look as ridiculous as possible. That's insanity. I heard it from Michael Murphy in Kansas, where Jim Greenwood makes his stocks. Can't recommend those guys enough. Oh, cool. Dang. Yeah, we have. Let's definitely do it. I'm going to, I'm gonna clip that part of the video, and I'm gonna put it on social media, and we'll do it. I'll start it off. Actually, I'm gonna do it right now while I'm waiting for comments to come in. David, I thought you said you were going to the Northeastern Regional. I think I might have missed one while I was reading my calendar. Where is? I mean, this is too funny to me. Okay, so I'm recording this on my phone, and I'm gonna post it, and we'll start it off. Oh man, someone just texted me. That's gonna mess it up. I don't know if I would assume he is. Oh, I'm talking about Greenwood. Um. Okay, does somebody have like a link? I'm very curious to know if someone can link that CPSA rule for the 10-second thing, because that just blows my mind. We'll link the CPSA rule and link the NSCA. I think the NSCA rule is awesome. I think that's a good idea, but I'm not so sure about this whole 10-second madness here. Will, are you going to be at the U.S. Open? Who here is going to the U.S. Open? I'm watching this happen on here. If you guys can see it, and like the look of shock on my face when I find out that it's 14 seconds. Also, man, when you wear those glasses all day, you get weird marks on your face. I feel you, Will. I didn't sign up for the Open until like last week, so. Oh, cool. Hey, Jerry. Oh, I see. It's all in the email. You could send. I'll do this. You can send it to that email if you got it. Okay, so I got the NSCA rules. Let's take a look at these bad boys here. Inception, a video within a video. Where did I get that email? Okay. Oh, wow. There's a lot of rules. Here we go. So, competition addition to rule of VIIE3. Call for the target. A. The target must be launched immediately or with a delay up to 3 seconds. B. Shooter has 20 seconds to call for the target after entering shoot stand and between shots. First shooter time starts at completion of viewing show targets. Warnings and penalties will be administered by course manager or shoot management. Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. It's only going to be it can't be the referee. So it says first violation is a warning, second violation, and each subsequent violation in the round 2 targets deduction from final score. Dang. That'll do you in right there, boys. Addition to rule, VII, coaching. During any World, National, U.S. Open, or Regional Championship, once a shooter is in the shooting stand, the only communication allowed will be between the shooter and the field judge. Violation of this rule must be brought to the attention of shoot officials to determine if and what disciplinary measures will be taken. Both the shooter and individuals communicating with the shooter may be subject to disciplinary action. Gonna get booted out for helping your buddies. Get out of here. We don't want your money no more. Oh, man. Well, I didn't realize that the rule was not in there that you had. The next rule, number 7, is they added that at least one pair will be shown in a view pair, but it's limited to no more than 2 pairs. I guess that there was not a rule there that said 2 pairs. Interesting. What other? We have a state championship. Addition to rule. I like these rules. I think they're good. Okay, let's read the one that we got for the CPSA. It literally does say 10 seconds. Holy cow. Dang, man. Wild. That's pretty funny. Okay, let me catch up on some of the comments. So it says, oh, very cool. First U.S. Open. So Jerry says, given that you plan to shoot more big tournaments in 2023 and after some time not shooting them, what is your performance expectation for the U.S. Open? That's a fair question. I don't expect to shoot good at the U.S. Open because I really don't want to go. I don't want to go to that shoot, and it's going to be the only shoot this year that I go to that I don't want to go to. And the reason why I don't want to go has nothing to do with my shooting or anything like that. It's just that I just don't want to go there. It has nothing to do with the fact that I think the tournament will be good or bad. I think it's going to be a fantastic tournament. I think the targets are going to be awesome. It's literally just feeling, and I can't always control that. And I know that when I don't want to go somewhere, I'm not in it, which is why I normally don't go. But I want to go because I want to support that shoot. It's always my favorite shoot of the year, and so my expectation is that it's not going to be good. Like, basically, my expectation is I'm not going to win. I don't think that it's going to be bad. But the main reason why I decided to sign up last week, I literally signed up for it last week, were a couple of things. Number one, the Super Squad. I'm a huge proponent of the Super Squad thing, and I don't want to be hypocritical and not show up to a tournament where they're doing that, because I want to support that. I think it's important that we get involved and do that because it grows the sport, and I definitely want to support that choice and the people that are putting a lot of work in to get that done. And I very much appreciate Tim Miles being able to, setting up the chute to be able to run that way. I think that's fantastic. I think it is an awesome step in the right direction, so I want to support it. Number two, I don't really want to go there, but I also at the same time, I know that I love shooting in a Super Squad, and I'm hoping that flips that for me. I have practice, so I don't feel unprepared. The reason, I guess I could identify the reason that I don't want to go is that I just have been so crazy busy that it's like I have to drive home from here, and I get home Monday night, and then I leave there Tuesday morning to drive to Arizona, and it's just like it's just been nonstop. I haven't had time to rest. So I know that I need that, which is why I don't know if I'll shoot that well. But I'll have fun. And so I want to use it as a test to see if it's a shoot that I don't care about. If some of the things that I've been working on, I can flip that and actually perform well at a shoot that I don't want to go to. It's a test for me, so we'll see. Again, I want to support it. So who knows? I may end up winning. Heck yeah, John. Yeah, see, another John. The first one was John L. That I was saying heck yeah to. First place. But John Mollier says a few years ago at Eagle's Nest Tower Challenge, shooters had 4 seconds to reload. Shells could be put on the rail. I think that kind of thing is awesome. I think that's fun. It's enjoyable for people. It's funny. I'm a total proponent of that. I think that's that type of thing, like a speed round or a tower challenge, that kind of stuff is fantastic. It's when you get me to try to freaking do this in 10 seconds that for sporting clays, my God, man. Somebody just texted me basically the truth, and I'm laughing at it, and you know who you are, but I can't say it. Oh. Let's see. Yep. Okay, let's see. Anybody else have any other questions? Anything I can... Oh, wait. What happened to... What was his name? Nolan? What? Noah. Did Noah respond to what I asked him to send me? I want to make sure I answer that question because I want to help him. That's a very, very good point, Jerry. They're the old Finizzles got them shaking in their boots. Fanzini's got them scared. Oh, that's all out of respect. I love Joe. Listen, someone with a last name like me can't be actually making fun of people with last names. A Ton of Motion says, I didn't catch it earlier, but when will the Journey Bear Pelt vest be available to purchase? I think pretty soon. I believe I want to say that we're going to try to have it by right after the Open, right after the U.S. Open, I think. Um, is who still in here, Jeremiah? Oh, Dr. Colo, maybe? I don't know. Was he in here? And Brad says, when do I think I'll be having Dr. Colo on? Um, I I don't know when, because to have Dr. Colo on. See, there are guests, actually probably every guest I ever have on. I do not want to have a guest on where it can be an educational conversation, a very educational conversation. I don't want to have that conversation over the phone or over the internet, because of a couple things. Number one, I know me, and with my ADHD, I know that I can't have as good of a conversation if I can't have as good of an interview. I can't interview somebody as good if it's not in person, because if I need to formulate questions through the filter of something that's not necessarily just how I'm thinking, then it's very easy for me to get sidetracked in a conversation where I'm just listening on the phone or watching and listening on a video call. And then as I'm formulating a response in my head or a question, the next question in my head, I lose the ability to listen to them. And so then the interviews are never as good. But when it's in person, I'm completely locked in, and because I can be there and read the body language and be eye to eye, and on top of that, the audio is so much better and being someone that's kind of an annoyingly a freak about that kind of stuff, I want the quality of what I do to be really good, because if you're gonna invest the time to listen to a multi-hour long podcast to try to learn, I want no distractions for you. I don't want audio quality that sounds like it's coming through a tube. I don't want lagging in video. I want it to sound like you are right there, and that's very important to me. So, like with Colo, to have him on the podcast, I have no problem flying to him to do that interview. But the problem is finding the time to do that, or looking into the schedule to see a time when both of our schedules are in the same place at the same time. So I don't really know yet, but I'm definitely going to have him on. Yeah, I don't know where Noah is. No, I did not know you could do that. Participants. What? That is so cool. Learn something new every day. You could click on the 3 dots and see all the chat participants. That's a new one. Yeah, I hope he does see that. I would love for him to. I would love to help him out for that, because I don't want that to happen. If anybody knows who that is, please tell them to reach out to me. As I was going up to find more stuff about Noah, I see Austin's comment. You know how much fun this would be around a fire, drinking bourbon and picking on David? The sad thing is, I would have a lot of fun too. Oh my god. West Side in April. Okay, cool. Will, can you text me those dates that you'll be there? Because I may honestly just come down to interview all you guys. So it'd be fun to do one together, but also all three of you guys are people I would love to have. I would just do independent. If you have time, let me know if you'd have time. I know, like, for me, when I'm down here teaching, I don't know if I'd be so exhausted. But if that would be interesting to you, let me know, and I would love to come down. And I don't want to. I would do it secretly and not like, I don't want to steal any thunder or anything about the clinic, but I would love to have the opportunity to interview you guys. I got lost. When your eyes and hands gun are not in sync, but physically and mentally you're clicking with the target, how would you recommend regrouping, or what would your thought process be to figure it out? Jeff, can you explain to me a little bit what you mean by when your eyes and hands / gun are not in sync, but you're physically and mentally clicking with the target? Just let me know what you mean, because to me, if you're physically and mentally connected to the target, then your hands and eyes would be in sync. So maybe you're referencing something different. Just let me know. That sounds like a very interesting question. I want to make sure I answer it right. Ooh, I'm thirsty. I am loving this idea of the bear pelt speed pockets. I'm not joking. I'm gonna design a vest. Like, I'm gonna design a speed pocket vest, and it's gonna be hilarious. I'm definitely gonna do this. Oh. Well, let me see. Man, I'm pressing all these buttons. I don't know what they're doing. Oh, Drew, how many bear pelt vests do I own? I don't know. I lost track. I never really counted. When I had a bunch, and they did a social media thing, it was like, guess how many vests, bear pelt vests David has, and they ran it on social media. It was like a competition. I didn't know. I had to go and count. And that was, I believe that was like October of 2021. And I believe the number was 40 something. So I think it was 40. I want to say it was 42, but I don't know if I'm thinking 42 because that's the answer to everything, or if that's actually the answer to the vest that I have. I don't remember at that time. But I would say, I mean, that was, I think, bear pelt. I don't remember what year bear pelt. No, I'm just so blanked on everything. I mean, I know a while ago I probably had, I don't know. I have an insane amount because a lot of times I get prototypes to test. And so, like, when I get a prototype, I might get like 2 or 3 of the same one to test different subtle options. So I don't know if I would count that as a vest. I mean, it's a fully built vest, and I shoot them in tournaments. I mean, the funniest thing was, when we decided to try to make a vest with a like a leather it's not really pad, but it's just leather here. I got the prototype. I didn't even know they were making it, and Eric and Heather came over and gave him like, "Here, we want you to test this out, but let us know. Don't worry about it whenever you have time." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And that was at the it was a world championship, maybe. Yeah, the world championship. And so I was like, "Well, what better way to test a vest than in feet test?" So I went out and used it in the feet test. And I was like, "Oh, this thing is awesome. It's the best. It is fantastic for feet test." And like, "Where are you shooting it right now?" It's like, "Yeah, like in the middle of a world championship." It's like, yeah, because I believe in it that much. They're awesome products. But yeah, that if you guys don't have one of those vests yet, you need to get one. They're fantastic. They give you an awesome feeling. So like the bear pelt vest, one of the most unique things about them that a lot of people initially when they see or they look at, they think they don't like. And in all honesty, I can say that because I was one of those people. Which is the fact that there isn't you don't see that there's a pad there. There's not like a leather pad or an Alcantara pad on the vest on the normal one. And you think, well, why would I want that? I don't want that. And I didn't think that I would want that either. When I first got the pictures of the very first vest before I even got the vest. It's like, oh, man, I don't really think I like that. That doesn't make any sense. And I listened to Eric explain the R&D behind it and how he tested so many different things and tried so many different things, and he really believed that was the best. And I'm like, I trust you, but I mean, I've never owned or seen a vest without that. I don't know, like, I don't think it's gonna be good, but I was like, I'll try it. So I got it, and I went to go shoot it for the first time, and I literally remember being like, I am blown away. I shot it for the first time in a tournament in Texarkana, and I was just blown away that the precision and accuracy and the placement of my gun in my shoulder was 100%. I very rarely have ever had a round where it's perfect every single time. Perfect. I don't have to make a subtle adjustment. You were talking about perfect for me is a level that's like ridiculous because I mean, a subtle change to me pulls my attention to the way that feels in my shoulder, and it can influence something. And it has nothing to do with like the mechanics of the shot. It has more to do with the fact that in other vests, if I were to mount sometimes, like the way the material would fold, I would feel something there, and I didn't like that. And it sometimes literally would change cast or pitch or just the way the gun felt in my shoulder. And a lot of times I'd flip it and fix it real fast and before the next shot of a pair. But I never had that. I've never had that happen with a bear pelt, period, ever, since I've ever shot one. And I was like, man, this is just fantastic. It's not, I mean, put aside all the things about them being comfortable and cool, not like neat, but like cold, that you don't get hot in them, and they're also cool. I was like, man, that's so cool. And so but now that we have the other option too, and it's great because it takes the same purpose of that and the same feeling and experience of that with the original bear pelt vest, but now it has a pad for people, so it feels the same. I wouldn't have said it was good if it didn't accomplish the same thing because I think it's the best. Chris, that is the most brilliant thing I have ever read. We need a funnel barrel to chuck shells in fast. But it needs to be made in a way that somehow has this rotational cylindrical thing in it that if you throw the shells in backwards, they'll flip right side up. And that way, I believe we should just call that the sub 5 barrels. Because I believe that in 2 years, when they change the time to 5 seconds, that we will be ahead of the game. I think that's the best way to. I think that I need to call Morrow and tell him. Thanks, Brad. I appreciate that. It's so cool that you join in on this from all the way in Australia. That is freaking awesome. I literally still tell people about the picture of the kangaroos in your backyard as you were listening to the Dead Pair podcast. The pictures that you sent me. That is the coolest thing. I know it's probably not cool to you, but that is so cool to me. Just having wild kangaroos hanging out while you're listening to a podcast. Hoss, what's up? He's here. What's up, Hoss? Okay. Jeff says, read the movement of the target properly, but your movement in the gun is slower or delayed. Self perception or lagged movement. I see. So that's a good question. I think the best way to do that, I mean, really the best way to do that, neurologically and physiologically, would be to not make a conscious correction, like not try to regroup, because if you notice that happening and then you make a conscious decision to try to change something, then you are partitioning your consciousness and your attention to something else to consciously drive something in your body. So you're overriding your proprioceptive movement to force it into being conscious movement. And I would rather use bad proprioceptive movement over good conscious movement every day, because it's just better. And so, the hard part of that is that, if that happens, I think to try to make a change in the middle of the shot is probably not the best thing. The best thing would be to try to get to feel the target again. The goal would just be to, excuse me. The goal would be to reconnect visually in the location of your eyes and the depth of your eyes, and then in the attention of your eyes and the attention of your thoughts and your consciousness. Reattach that to the target as opposed to the thing you're thinking of, and proprioceptively it'll correct itself. But the best answer to that would be that how would you prevent that from happening? Because that's the real question. If they take equal amounts of effort and they have the equal probability of success, I would want to prevent it as opposed to know how to do something in case it happened. And the way to prevent it would be that if you're lagging with the bird, that means that your presence is not there and your attention is off, and your start is via decision rather than reaction. And so you're not cued to the correct area of your vision when you call pull. And so basically what's happening is what you would want to do was make sure that you're very extraceptively focused and aware of what's in your vision, and your eyes are in the right place and they're not moving, they're still and quiet, and your attention, your conscious focus, not your visual focus, but your conscious focus is on part of your vision. And so that means that you're not thinking of something as well. So like if you're consciously focused on something, you're thinking about that, not something else. So you would want to attach your conscious focus to your visual focus, and then you would want to call pull in that moment before your conscious focus drifts from your visual focus, which would allow you to be extraceptive on the higher end of the spectrum, and then your thoughts and awareness can bounce around, and then that's when you lag, because your movement you would not have like a very streamlined feedback loop of information between your eyes and your brain and your body. Hopefully that helps. Jerry, I have this TSK on here right now because I was actually measuring a student. So That's why. I'm not shooting with this right now. I have my actually the stock that I was using when I was shooting with you last. Let me see. Any other questions I missed? These are some good questions today. And pretty funny interaction, I'll tell you that. I don't think so, and it's getting pretty late. I need to make sure that I get good rest. So, because I got another full day tomorrow. But let's do this. Remember the homework to record a video of you doing a sub 10-second pair. Make it look ridiculous. Time it. And post it on social media and hashtag Journey Shooting Podcast and 10-second rule or something like that. And so that's your homework. There's nothing serious about it, but it's very serious. Okay, so Brad says, David, you undersell how valuable a resource you are. Wow. Brad, what do you want? No, I'm kidding. How valuable a resource you are to people in faraway places where we don't have the opportunities like USA. Kangaroos are cool, but don't give good coaching advice. But what if they did, though? Because that would be cool. That last sentence, that came out of left field for me. And that was really funny. Oh. I appreciate that, Brad. Thank you. I do appreciate that because that's, my goal with the podcast and everything is to differentiate a lesson, what people ethically I have to not give away things for free that other people pay for because that's just not fair to the people that pay for them. I could change my business model and decide not to make money in lessons and make money doing something else and then make it all free. But the thing that prevents that, obviously I have to pay bills, but the real thing, honestly, is that, I would feel so guilty for the people, it's an expensive thing to learn how to get good. And I don't take that lightly, and I appreciate, I may not be super good at showing it because I'm so hard to get a hold of, but it's really because I'm so hard to get a hold of if you're not doing it in the right way, like scheduling a call or something. But I'm so hard to get a hold of because I so much appreciate the time and the money that people spend with me. And it's because I'm totally in that moment. And I'm not checking my phone. And I take people past the time that they pay for. And I get fully involved in conversations. And I give you everything that I have there. And so I take that very seriously. And I would never want to disrespect that by giving away information, that people pay for. I mean, I can talk about things that I, in a lesson that I do on the podcast and vice versa, but there's certain things I can't do on a podcast. And so it actually, honestly, it'd be easier for me if I did just give everything away because I try to think of creative ways to communicate things and to present things to people to where it can help them, but it also respects the investment that everybody else has made because if you can give somebody a path forward to understand how to make progress on their own, then you don't just help that person, but you help build the game because that person brings around more people and then they talk about it and they have fun and they enjoy it and maybe they try a tournament and maybe, whatever it is. But that grows the sport and it grows the enjoyment of the sport. And, I mean, if I could give back in any way. I'm going off on a tangent now, but I recently had somebody ask me. I don't remember. Maybe it was on the podcast. It was on a podcast. Somebody asked me what I want to be remembered for. And I don't really care if it's anything about winning certain tournaments or a resume. For me, what is the most valuable thing would be like, if I could be remembered for something in the sport, it would be for helping to grow it in some way, or making a change to the way people think and approach learning. And because that's cool. So that really does mean a lot to me, Brad. And I really appreciate that, because I really do try to do that. Because it kind of sucks that I can't, and other coaches, that we can't just be everywhere. It would be so nice if people could be accessible everywhere. And maybe someday we'll figure out a way to use technology to be able to do that. But until then, this is kind of the best we can do. But it's cool to see that it helps people, because that's really exciting. Yes, exactly. I think if I dressed up in a kangaroo suit next time that I coach, honestly, I could probably raise my hourly coaching rate. Oh my god. Okay, cool. Yeah, we can yeah, save it, Lily. Save it for the next podcast. And if it's a good question, send it to me, and I can get a nice, prepared, organized response, and that would be good. Let's see. Cool. All right, guys. Well, let's call it a quits on that one. That was a very fun, hilarious podcast. Thank you for all of you guys that showed up. That was really fun. We got some new guests on there to make fun of me. I enjoyed it. I'm a little bit underwhelmed by Gary Fitzgerald's appearance. I thought it was going to be a little bit more brutal. But no, it was good to see all you guys. And I hope everybody has a great week. We'll be doing a live podcast on this coming Monday. I have done so many recorded ones. We have to do a live one. So we'll be doing a live one, and it'll be an educational podcast that I'll prepare. And then the schedule will probably change going into the U.S. Open. I don't know if I'll have a live on Wednesday night, because it might just be hard. So we'll see how it goes. But I hope all of you have a great rest of the week. Get some good practice in for the U.S. Open, and we will use the U.S. Open kind of as a regrouping. And Monday's podcast will be a good little kind of preparation podcast for the U.S. Open. So very nice, awesome. Well, adios, guys. Thanks for joining me, and we will see you on Monday. Don't forget.